Welcome. I know it's college football weekend, but Michigan State's playing right now, and I don't want to watch them. So I don't care about the Spartans playing Minnesota. As you can see, I'm probably still pretty pissed at the apology that Central Michigan gave, and then the way in which the Spartans handled it. So I want to talk about the Lions, and like you all, I want to talk about the trade deadline. It's upcoming, so get your questions in. I'll explain and recap everything that I've heard, just like you guys. I'll give you my fair and honest and humble opinion regarding what I think is going to happen. Clearly, Dan Campbell and Calvin Shepard tried to downplay it. I'll tell you why. I don't think it's exactly accurate. You know that Brad Holmes is all over the phones. We'll talk about some things that are being talked about, rumors. What do you guys want at the deadline? And this is your chance to just vent, express how you feel about the Lions. Do you feel a little bit uncomfortable? Are you scared that they're going to not make a move? And are you scared that the Eagles are going to pull off the 2-3 first rounders for Trey Hendrickson? I am. You have to be. You can't just sit there and be emotionless and realize that there's not other competition. This is a dog eat dog world. And in this world, in the NFL, if you sleep, the others eat. And that's a fact. And you know Howie Roseman's putting together his plan. And Brad Holmes has to step up. But there's a conversation to be had, a real one, a real conversation to be had. I'm not going to sit here and be like everybody else that's like, the Lions are good. They're just great. They can go in and not make any deals. That's not me. I want deals. I want action. That's what the doc wants. You can sit back and see the people that are like, the Lions are great. They have a 5-2 record and everything's prideful and happy and everything's great and hunky-dory and calm down. There's never anything to talk about. That's wrong. That's not me. If that's you, if you're in the Lions are great all the time, absolutely. I'm very impressed with the 5-2 mark. I am confident that they can compete, but I want more assurance. I want more insurance that they're going to win. That's just the way it is. I think that's the way most people that would approach things go. If you have a chance to get better, you go out and get better. That's the way it is. You are not an elite team yet. You're a very good team. You're becoming an upper echelon team, but you have not won a ring yet. So a lot of the fans are definitely a little bit nervous that Brad Holmes is not going to do anything. So we're going to talk about it. That's what we're going to talk about today. Today's about the trade deadline. That's what the next 45 minutes or so, I'm not really, going to rush to write the practice squad elevations at 4:00. There's so much good news you can check out at Lions on SI. Today was a newsy day. Keyshawn Johnson talked about Jameson Williams. We have a trade story. We have pros and cons about Carl Granderson. We have analysis of the salary cap. Christian's cooking up the Aiden Hutchinson contract details. So you got your fill for today. We did our work for today. A great start. And first and foremost, before we kick this off, I definitely want to read a lot of your comments and see where you guys are at. Because I'm going to speak my mind. I don't care anymore. I think you guys know. I'm going to ask what I want to ask. I'm going to say what I want to say. And I'm at the point now at 46 years old. I'm just going to say and do whatever the hell I want. That's the attitude I've taken. Whether you like it or you don't like it, I've earned the platform to speak. And guess what? I don't care if you don't like that I asked Jameson Williams what he was posting about. I saw some of your comments. Some of you liked it. Some of you didn't. But you can read between the lines with Jameson Williams. It's Instagram. You started giggling. He was not being truthful. It's okay. It's not a big deal. It was not related to football. Well, what were you sad about? That was not talked about. But listen, he was not, let's not say he wasn't truthful. He wasn't forthcoming regarding why he was sad in the morning after a poor production game. But you have to ask it. Oh my God, why are these guys asking these questions? Because I can. Straightforward. And you guys know that I know some of you wanted to know that. But it's really funny to read. Why would you ask Jameson Williams these questions? The funny part was the reporter that came after me and asked the same question. Listen, it's a little bit funny. I always believe that if you come late, maybe you shouldn't, maybe you should assume if you see the doc there, that doc would already ask it. But I felt good. I'm like, the number one guy came in and asked the exact same questions I did. And Jameson's like, he already asked this. But he got to elaborate a little bit further. But listen, we're going to talk all about the trade deadline. What do you want? And remember, the blessing is that I am in kind of the same feelings you guys are. Add talent, add to this roster. But I respect those of you that say, "Hey, why would you ask this?" You can say it, but the funniest comments you read under those, you take 3 minutes out of your day and you go, what are the people saying? They're like, "Doc's an egomaniac," and "Doc's asking stupid questions." That's funny to me to have me in your name and your thoughts regarding the job I do. uh, the growing hater list is growing, which is listen. Here's a little secret. I grew up in the Howard Stern era. I grew up in the era of hearing, well, the average Howard Stern fan listens for 30 minutes. Oh, okay. The average Howard Stern hater listens for 2 hours. And everyone's scratching their head. Why do they listen if they hate him? I want to know what he's going to say next. So that's the boat. I don't know how this is happening, but the more I talk, the more everything in my cycle is well. So I'm very happy. Shout out to Brent, Mr. Poole, Motown Mitch, the early people here, the early 200 people. Hit the like button for me. That's free. You can hate, you can freely hate on me all you want. You just hit the like button for me. As again, the doc is a narcissistic egomaniac troll. That's the funniest thing to read because that's the furthest thing, but I can act like that. Certainly, we all have an ego. But what you just need to know is I'm a good podcaster. I'm an excellent psychologist. I can make you feel however I want you to feel. Pissed, happy, mad. My nephew laughs at these comments. He's like, "Why do people say they like your questions and don't like you?" I said, "That's the way, that's what you need to be. That means you're doing your job right. Some people like it, some people don't. That's the way you got to be. That's the free advice of the day. You can't have everybody like you. It's just never going to happen." But it's just funny to read. I'm like, "Nephew, look at this." They're like, "You're a narcissist, John?" He's like, I'm like, "No, nephew, I'm not a narcissist. But I like talking about me. I have good self-esteem, adequate self-esteem. And I blame, in essence, if you don't like me, I blame Terrell Owens. Blame Terrell Owens because he said into the camera, "I love me some me." And a young, impressionable macaroon said, "I like that attitude. I love me some meat. I love me some meat." Now, that was the 3 minutes of talking about myself. Now, that I will not talk about myself anymore. Go read the comments. They're funny. Half of them are like, "Doc is great." Other half are like, "Leave J-Mo alone." Now, football talk, baby. Chief IT Hips gets in. My man, Chief, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Much love and appreciation. Doc, thanks for everything that you do. My take on the deadline is I'll believe it when I see it because we still haven't seen BH make that big move. What do you guys think about the Chief? You're right. That is the growing sentiment that people have. Brad is not swinging for the fences. But there is a discussion to be had. You leave your comment up there. He's earned the right for some respect. He's built a good roster through the draft. It is a core belief, and you can see it too. I disagree with what Calvin told me. He brought up a word he didn't need to bring in my question. It's not disrespectful to the players on the roster to look for upgrades. It's not. They have a general manager that looks through the film and will cut people. It's not disrespectful. It's just the business. So I understand what Calvin said from a coaching perspective. He doesn't want to stand there and say, "Hey, there's guys out there better than you." I get it, but it doesn't need to be said. Not to me, not to the public. They know that if Brad finds somebody better, they're going to get added to the team. It's not disrespectful. It's just not. The Lions have good players. They have good coaches. It's pretty well documented. They're 5-2. The question mark is for you guys in the comments to the first 200 people in here. Do the Lions need to make that big move? Yes or no? What do you think, Chief? Do they need to make that move? Do they have to beg and figure out 2-3 first rounders for Hendrickson? I don't think they need to. I think they need to make multiple B+ moves. I would love it if I listen, the way I'll frame it is for those of you that can focus and pay attention. There's what the fan in me wants, and then there's the professional that listens to Brad and Dan and Kelvin talk to me what they're saying. The fan in me loves your comment, Chief. Yes, add Hendrickson. Go out there and sacrifice. I don't care about the future. I care about right now. Get me Hendrickson. That's the fan in me. That's the passionate guy that wants to win. That's the guy that wants the best team out there all the time. I think Trey Hendrickson would make you the Super Bowl favorite the second the deal gets made. I don't care about draft picks, but the Lions have made you change your mind about them, that they are more valuable. But Brad has some whiffs on his record. He has a handful of whiffs now on his record, as would any general manager. So there is that nugget of those where when Brad Holmes said, hey, because I asked Brad Holmes, not scared to ask him, hey, you failed on two pretty big ones. Hendon Hooker and Broderick Martin, what happened? And he said, humbly, Chief, he said, we can do all the research we want. We can do all the psychological tests we want. We can do everything. There's still a heavy amount of risk involved, and that's part of the draft. You can do all the work. Brad can do all the research. Ray can do all the research. And there's still risk. And those are big risks. Those weren't picks that you just had. You made maneuvers to try and get those spots. So the draft has risk. So there has to be that perfect mix of drafting and external free agents. I think Brad is excellent at the highest level of what you need from the draft. He could always do better, but that area is tightened up. It's pretty good. The problem is the Scott Harrises and the Isermans and the Brad Holmes is when they start looking outside, there's more of a crapshoot. It's not as reliable. They're not as good at finding outside talent. There's more misses there, and that's why there's more risk. But first and foremost, step one, before we get into a lot of these thoughts, do the Lions have to make a splash to win a Super Bowl? Part of me says yes. Part of me says I think they can go very, very far in the playoffs with what they have. Shout out to Eric, Edith Paul. Chief, I definitely got a lot of respect for you. Shout out to David Cleveland. I appreciate everybody's comments. Listen, it's a safe zone. You can say whatever you want. Do you feel the Lions have to make a splash? It's okay to say yeah. It's okay to say no. It's an open forum here. All ideas are welcome. We debate here. We don't just sit here and say everything's great all the time. I think they need to make some moves. Will they be active? Now, Dan Campbell, I thought used some word salad here. And I think that's the perfect way, really, to answer it. But he was asked, are the Lions going to be active? Do you expect to be active? He's like, I don't expect to be active. But it doesn't mean that it won't happen. I mean, that's literally the fence answer. He doesn't need to expect. He's got a 5-2 football team. Everything's good. And I think that this football team is in a prime spot to have success, given the fact that there's going to be some guys coming back. You have to give them respect. Kelvin Shepard did the same thing. And so I asked Kelvin Shepard, I said, how fast, if you add somebody on defense, could they acclimate? And he gave an answer, which was really insightful, that a middle linebacker is going to take forever, that it won't probably happen. Middle linebacker would definitely struggle, but a defensive end, you can plug him in. But he's like, I think that's disrespectful to talk about. No, it isn't. It is not disrespectful. The roster is looked at all the time by the upstairs. And I get he's got to have the support. He's got to be the front man for the roster. I get it. But it's not disrespectful. We're never going to stop asking about it. I'll never stop asking about, hey, do you like this guy? Do you like that guy? Do you want to upgrade? Because there is a general manager portion of the job. And the guys know it. The sooner people recognize, fans, players, media, there is a business side that if they found somebody better at the interior of the defensive line, they're cutting DJ Reader. You know what I mean? But as long as DJ Reader is the best option, he'll have a spot. That's just the nature of the business. You have a spot until someone comes along better than you. That's just the nature of the business. So do you feel that the Lions must be active. What's your level? Where do you want? What kind of splash do you want? Ronnie says, yes, need another pass rusher. I'm going to you guys for your reactions. Love it. Thank you, Ronnie. Detroit fan man, give me Jalen Phillips or on a rental for a 4th-round pick. I'll give you my thoughts on that. Kevin Jones, Doc, with them needing a starting left tackle and a center next year, with those first 2 picks in 2026, what players and for what picks do you think is reasonably out there for the Lions right now? That's a good question. Are you in the same boat as a lot of fans that the Lions should target offensive line in the draft? I would believe so. But, Kevin, I owe you an answer. I have not looked to the college draft yet. It's funny that the Lions are a football team that has won. Typically, I would look in the draft. It's November 1st, and I have to turn the page and start to look at that. But this is a winning football team, and you're absolutely right. So at the very forefront, Kevin, I will acknowledge that offensive line is going to be a priority in this next draft. Now, would I do it early? Possibly not. But I do think that those positions in the draft are upcoming. Now, here's who could. Now, these are names that don't excite me in terms of externally. But a couple names that people are paying attention to are Evan Neal. That's externally right now. The Lions, look, I feel like the Lions have done a good job. You also got to pay attention to Kevin, Miles Frazier. He hasn't been a name that you have heard about a lot, but he's working his way back. He could be the center of the future, but he's developing. So I will turn the page soon and start looking at the draft as to what's available for the Lions to upgrade. But in terms of trade, Evan Neal, Max Mitchell, Kelvin Beachum, pay attention to those names. I think Evan Neal has a chance to rebound here in Detroit, but he's inconsistent. These are options that don't make you feel all warm inside. But Taylor Decker's nagging injury is concerning. Neal hasn't even played. So that's why everyone's like, why do you keep saying Evan Neal on your broadcast? Well, because he's been injured a lot. That's a Brad Holmes guy. Hasn't played a game yet for 2025. Beachum is old. Beachum is 36 years old. I don't think that they're that much better than Skipper right now. So the problem is, I feel like the Lions should prioritize offensive line and it's a topic we're going to talk about and what you guys think. Hopefully, Kevin, that gives you a little bit of insight. Sorry, the draft is in college football is great, but I'm burnt out on college football because the Spartans have kicked me in the nuts so much that it makes me hate the damn sport. I was there in the press box watching Jonathan Smith sleep through the football game. So I owe you, Kevin, come back soon. I owe you a list of names from college to get after it. What do you guys think? If you guys follow it, is there a left tackle of the future that you think is right out there now that could come in? You know, most people would say that Manu's in the program, so he's the next man up. You could switch Penei Sewell to left and you get Manu at right, or you trust Manu to be the blind side for Goff. I wouldn't. I would do the switching. I'd switch Penei Sewell to the left side and you have Manu on the right. Edith wants Turner from Cincinnati. Evan's right. Exactly. It's going to be quite hard. I'm going to add quite. It's going to be quite hard to get O-line at the deadline because everybody wants that position as well of depth. Dunk gets it. I always want to improve the trenches. Ghetto boy Juan. Shout out to you, man. I appreciate you, man, to check in all these times. Give me Jermaine Johnson. The Lions are paying attention to him for sure. You know they're paying attention to the Jets, the Dolphins, Bengals, teams that are out. What do you think about D-Dunk's comments? Lions don't have to make a move to win a Super Bowl. Man, they don't, but I would be a little bit scared. I'm confident that it's a growing confidence that they'd be okay, but I want more assurances, more insurance, more of a warm, fuzzy feeling. I'd have my doubts, but I'm a worry wart anyway. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm a Spartan fan and a Lions fan, so I've been scarred. Do you hate me for that? I've also sat in the press box when the Lions were favored against the Commanders, and we're like, we're eliminated now. So don't act like you guys are the kings of the castle. We've been scarred, you know? But I feel like at this point in time, if you can picture Doc and how I am at this moment, 1, handsome, 2, very smart, 3, a great psychologist, but 4, if you know that there's a meme out there, you know the meme where the foreign guy standing there and he's standing there proudly, and then the other guy's coming up there and just kicking him in the nuts over and over, whack, whack, whack. That's me. I'm the guy standing there firm. But, you know, eventually one of those kicks is going to put me down. But I've been kicked in the nuts enough, you know, whack, whack, whack. I've been kicked, hurt, bamboozled, but I'm standing tall. I still have belief eventually one of these days the Lions are going to host the Lombardi Trophy, and hopefully I can still be writing about it with a company. So far, so good. 7 years in. Great, October. But I'm that guy. If you can picture that, you know, the guy where you just whack, whack, getting kicked in the nuts over and over and over again. That's me. I'm firmly planted, 2 feet in the ground. I have confidence, but I want more assurances. I want more comfort. You should always want that. I would love Trey Hendrickson. I might even do a Chris Castellani video style, exuberant video if they got if they made a splash. I like splashes. Fans like splashes. Everybody likes splashes. Making a splash, winning a headline. That was great. To me, though, I've also experienced where Brad Holmes proudly walked in and was like, we've announced a trade for Donovan Peoples-Jones. And I almost tried not to laugh, but I was like, that's not going to win you a Super Bowl. And then the fans were like, oh, this is great. I'd like to announce that Donovan Peoples-Jones is a member of the team. Oh, he proudly walked in there. I think 2023 should have been a day where they pushed a little bit, but they didn't. DMV5 with the great question. DMV5 TV, what are the actual chances we land Hendrickson? We could talk about this. The actual chances, 0.04%. Cincinnati would announce their resignation of the season. They would ignite their fan base. And I feel like if he gets pried away, he's going to the Eagles. They'll just be like, we're going to give away 3-4 first-round picks, and we're going to give away this dude. You know what I mean? I always have that feeling like somebody else gets the presence over us. So if he makes a move, he's going to another contending team. Right? As if, you know, the fan base doesn't deserve another kick in the nuts. So I want to be honest. I don't even think Trey Hendrickson really leaves. The Bengals would be crazy to do that. I think you'd ignite their fan base. You'd be upset. You'd ignite, you know, but you got to hope that, you know, what we got to do as a collective fan base is you got to hope that the Bengals get their ass whooped this week. If they're playing. Heaven forbid, I'm not paying attention to all the bye weeks. You got to hope that they just keep losing and that the frustration keeps growing. Just like with the Dolphins. But now, the question mark is going to be, all right, question mark is, where does this football team need to get better? Where does this football team need to improve the most? Most of you still believe it's defensive line. I feel like there's room to argue and debate that it's not. You're getting, and I know you could tell me, hey, maybe you're too close to it. You're a homer. Maybe we need upgrade. That's fine. I definitely realize that I'm in the media. I go there every day. I'm skewed by a lot of things they say. But watching the film, Al-Quadin Muhammad's done a good job. You're also getting back Pascal. You're also potentially getting back a draft pick. You have some talent there to finagle it to make the puzzle work. Could you be better? Yes. I feel like cornerback is a position you can always get better at. And I feel like offensive line should be the priority, in my humble opinion. The area of need I want to shore up is clearly the trenches, but I want to shore up the offense. Your biggest investment is Jared Goff at $50 million a year. And your biggest explosive threat that has started to pick it up is Jahmyr Gibbs. I want to support Gibbs, Montgomery, and the offensive line in Jared Goff. I want an offensive lineman that potentially could shore up in case Taylor Decker's not there, in case there's something that happens. I think the offensive line is the most realistic that they can accomplish. Not a splash, but a role player, whoever that may be. I feel like you're getting a role player, guys. I feel like you're getting we're going to try to sell this guy as the man, but it's going to be a B+ kind of move. Role player, okay, but I don't feel the vibe of, and it could be great where we all feel the sense of like, okay, and we all feel average, but they make the splash. Of course, I can imagine DM5. Doc, can you imagine though? You can't double team Hutch, Alim, and Hendrickson. That would be awesome. Let's just fantasize for a minute, okay? Because I love it. I love that you guys do this, even though and I can't even write about Hendrickson anymore. I've written about him so much. Biggins knows. Biggins is commenting on every time I write about Hendrickson. I can't even write about it anymore. Like for the 19th time, do I really write on Lions on SI? The Lions, based on Diana Rossini, have called Trey Hendrickson. Yeah, no shit. They called Trey Hendrickson. No shit. Like I can't even write that 15 times. Can I write it more? I mean, I don't know. I think I should for the clicks, but even I can't say the Lions are calling for a defensive end over and over and over and over again. I've written it like 60 times. The Lions are calling for Doc, defensive line, offensive line, cornerback. It makes sense. But I don't see splashes. They've beaten me down. Brad Holmes said, enough, enough, enough. Stop with the dream scenario. So maybe it'll be more exciting when he actually does it. I'm telling you, man, this city's going to erupt. If he gets Trey Hendrickson, I might do a 10-hour stream. Just sit here and be like, wow, they actually did it. Wow. We are Super Bowl legit contenders. My man Biggins, shout out to you, man. Always good to see your stuff. Always. Whatever it is that you say, good, bad, or indifferent, this dude has complimented me, has chastised me, has challenged thinking. Good dude. I don't want to finagle victories on the D-line. I want to overpower them like Conan, crush our enemies and see them driven before us. So you're like me. You want offensive line. Smart guy. You want to dominate. You want actually big names. Like I said, but there's a lot of people that I feel like I might be wrong, but I feel like the collective fan base, and I get it, other bloggers, other writers, reporters have said that too, and they make good arguments too. They hoard those draft picks like it's dollar signs. I respect it. They're important. But I'm cheap. I want to go get the guy that's a finished product. I want finished product right now. Go get the guy that's going to ball out right now. Ball in the fall. This draft and developing takes a bunch of time. Getting older. Half your fan base is old. But the young kids, they still can fight it and say, Doc, you narcissistic troll. You don't understand ball. The way you build is through the draft. Well, the guys that win the Super Bowls have also added some talent at the deadline. Remember the Rams, the Eagles. So I've seen that. So I know, realistic and hope, man. I would love it for you guys if they got Hendrickson, if they got a big name defensive. I would love it for you guys. You guys deserve it. Even if it doesn't produce a Super Bowl, just the hype for the next 10 weeks, I think would fill people up. And the name that everybody talks about, I just don't see it. And here's why. Attila the Hun. Phillips actually complements the current offensive line better than Hendrickson. You mean defensive line, but I get it. Phillips actually complements the current line better than Hendrickson. They don't have a tall linebacker type edge like Brian Burns. I get what you're saying. Everybody's talking about Jaelan Phillips. He's a Brad Holmes guy. He's been injured. But did you not see Lamar leave his jock strap? I was like, oh, that's not a Lion. He had a sack, but he's always injured. I feel like that's a tease. Don't give me a tease, Attila. I can't handle teases at my age. I feel like the Lions should avoid the Dolphins. That's my hot take. That team sucks. I don't want their players. I don't want their players. I feel like you can avoid. I mean, Chubb, Phillips, it'd be okay. I don't think that gives me the assurances. I feel like he would give you the 2-3 games and then fall out. That's how I feel. That's how I feel it would happen. Ha! Reversion to the mean. Brett Holmes is a scratch and dent aisle shopper for sure. You make me laugh. So am I. I think everybody does it once in a while. You know, you save a couple bucks. It's just expensive, bro. Oh, what a good question. If we land Trey and not make the Super Bowl, would Brad's job be on the line? No. Here's why. Brad is the beneficiary. Dan is the beneficiary. He wouldn't be fired this year. They are the beneficiary of, they are going to get your football team to the playoffs for the last 3 years. That's unheard of. They are going to get the benefit of, the organization was trash beforehand. They are not trash. They're going to have a bunch of angry fans, but they're not losing their job. Brad Holmes is going to be here for the next 3-4 years. He built the sauce. Bro, Ghetto Boy Juan, I'm going to put this in a way I think you and I can understand. They took $1 billion of Sheila's money and put it into the football team. They paid $1 billion. Sewell, Goff, Amon-Ra, J-Mo. They are not going to take out the leader of the guy that paid all that money. That would be crazy. Playoff caliber. He drafts very well. The team is really a winning team. The culture is great. They're in prime time. They're getting you to pay ridiculous prices for season tickets. They're getting me to podcast 3-4 times a week about them and write 1 million stories about them. That man has earned a job for the next handful of years. Now, if this goes on beyond 2028, 2029, then we can talk about it. He gets the momentum of, hey, you're in the playoffs. He gets to ride that first wave. He owes you owe it to him. Like, you get a credit. You get the Mel Tucker credit. Like, he got maybe a couple of weeks longer than he deserved because he beat Michigan. No, Dan, we are not getting Hendrickson. We're just talking about it. We're just fantasizing. What you need is Pittsburgh to win as well. All right. So we're just fantasizing. The dream guy, I think, is Hendrickson. I think we can acknowledge that. The dream guy is Hendrickson. What areas of need do you rank it? Defensive line, offensive line, corner? Do you rank it, Doc? Or do you go defensive line, corner, offensive line? Or do you think they need to get a tight end? The blocking hasn't been that great at the tight end spot. It's been okay. Could be better. So tell me now, over the next few minutes, what's the name? Who should the Lions get? I know a lot of you talk about Phillips. Let's just get the facts out of the way, because I'm of the opinion it's Doc. Defensive line, offensive line, corner. And who's to say, don't focus on one position. Get all three. How many moves do you think the Lions make? I think realistically 1, dream scenario 2, wow, Brad Cook 3. How many moves does Brad Holmes make? Defensive line, the names you've all heard. Trey Hendrickson, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Kayvon Thibodeau, Tyree Wilson, Carl Granderson, Anthony Jennings, Joe Tryon, Shoinika. And then the name to pay attention to that might be an outside the box name, but I feel like it's going to take work is Jermaine Johnson. The organization has kind of given him the okay that he's going to stay. Jermaine Johnson is very intriguing to me. Very intriguing. I would love to see him on this roster. How many moves do the Lions make? 1, 2, 3? None? Would you be okay with Phillips or Bradley Chubb? Kayvon Thibodeau doesn't seem to be like a Lion to me. And the names that you're all hearing, we've all talked about. And a lot of these names, we've done the analysis at Lions on SI. You can visit the site and see the names. We've done the Riq Woolens, the Cam Taylor-Britts, the Alontae Taylors. Do you bring back an old friend? The name that I heard that was not in a chat, but someone direct messaged me, should they take a chance on Iffy? No. I know you don't need safety depth. Iffy is not the guy. Iffy made me laugh. Someone direct messaged me that. I think Riq Woolen is a guy that I would love to have here. Cornerbacks, Riq Woolen, Cam Taylor-Britt, Alontae Taylor, like I said, Rayshawn Jenkins. I think those are the handful of names that are out there. Edith is not down with it. No Dolphin rejects. Is there a player you don't want? Let me know in the comments and in here in the chat. Brent DeWitt, shout out to you always. Granderson sounds like a Brad move. And also, too, I said this on, I think I said this on my last podcast, but this is controversial. Arthur Fonzarelli. If for some reason the Lions played awful tomorrow and lost, they will most definitely make a big trade, but that's not happening. Would you, if you knew it would bring an additional player, if Brad's got somebody in mind, would you sacrifice the Vikings game to get the Lions to make a splash? I would. If I knew it's Hendrickson and Woolen and Evan Neal, but you have to lose to the Vikings tomorrow, sign me up. Give me the loss. Sign me up. Sign me up, Buttercup. I would take it. For the greater good of the team, if I knew that the players would come, take the loss. Am I wrong? Am I crazy? That's just my first thought. Great question. Great comment, Arthur Fonzarelli. Evan Foster would love Riq Woolen. He's great. Would he be pried from Seattle? He's not a scheme fit there. They play a lot of zone. He plays a lot of man. He fits here. Give up that fourth. Is there a player you don't want? I don't want Kayvon Thibodeau. I feel like that's just not a Lion player. There would be some opportunities that you'd see maybe he doesn't display the Lions' grit. But he's got talent. What? Are you telling me good news? Did Jonathan Smith bench Aiden Childs? What are you talking about? He sucks. Yeah, hell yeah. That's a good move. News from the Lions. Safety Daniel Thomas was not activated from IR and has been downgraded to out for Sunday's game. And they've elevated Ty Summers. That's the practice squad move. What happened? What happened with Aiden Childs? I mean, I'll talk to Emmett too. Good. I mean, I was there. My big takeaway in the first half was he's not a Big Ten quarterback. He's just not. He's the beneficiary of a fat check and not worth it. I'm ready to move on. Doc, do you see us selling a player at the deadline to acquire Trey or someone similar? That's also the key. Would you give up a Branch for a Hendrickson? No. That's the problem. I just got to give up. It's just picks. I don't want to upset the apple cart. This team's got talent. Would you guys give up? The only player that people would ask for is Campbell or Branch that you could realistically say, okay, take them. Or now, I thought this, and I always say, well, you shouldn't not say things that because people would be upset if we were 1 year down the road. I would say it more confidently, but I would give up JMO if it meant more impactful players. You're winning without him. You still need him, but you would then have to have your draft pick, which you traded 30 spots up to get. But I feel like JMO's part of the future. But I would make the trade. If you say throw JMO and a second for Hendrickson, I'd do it. I would do it. Because you have a guy. I mean, you'd have to have him grow up real fast. And it might, blow up in your face with a higher risk. But you have to give up something. I don't want to trade JMO. I don't want to trade him. But more realistically, and I'm telling you, not what they would offer, what they'd ask for even. I'm just saying, when I was thinking about this show, I was like, okay, if you had a thought of who you would trade, I'm not trading Branch. I'm not trading Campbell. I'm not trading Gibbs. Not trading anybody. I'm like, who could they realistically let go? You could replace them, and it would be JMO. Sorry, but I don't want to trade him. I don't want to trade JMO. Kenyatta, I need you to just remove the emotion real fast. Sometimes you have to give up something to get something. That's a trade. They're giving up Hendrickson, which they never wanted to do. It's a sign of his growing popularity, his growth, what he could do in the future. It would be a value. Like this is like when we talked about trading Taylor Decker. I don't want to trade JMO. But since it called us and said, give me a pick and JMO, I'd do it. But they're not going to say that. They're going to say, give me Branch. Okay, so please, I am not advocating. I like JMO. I think they can use them quite a bit, but they're not. They're 5-2 with JMO having less than 400. Guys, he's at less than 400 yards. You don't need him, technically. If you took him out of the lineup, you wouldn't miss him yet, except for the blocking, I know. But you have other guys that could do that. You drafted a guy to do that. And clearly, I do think Tesla can block, but maybe not to the same degree as a JMO. So don't get that twisted. I'm just saying, to give up a trade, you got to do what you got to do. That's what I'm saying. So who do you guys want to target? If you have any super chats, if you want to get to the front of the line, make sure you get it. See, and that's my job, reversion to the mean. And sometimes people don't understand. I think reversion, you get it. Sometimes people, there's so many things you got to clarify. I am not saying I want to trade JMO. You have to clarify that, and you have to add. You have, like, if you're a general manager, you're going to throw out some names. You're going to be like, I want to pick and I want Branch. That's a discussion to be had. This is me putting my general manager hat on. If I'm another general manager and I'm calling Brad Holmes, I'm like, I want to pick and I want Branch. Or, okay, you don't want to do Branch? I want to pick and I want JMO. I don't think Brad's going to do that. I don't think Brad will ever trade a draft pick that he's going to pay. I don't see it. But you're right. Doc is making the imagination trades really interesting. Pretty good ideas. I don't want JMO to go either, but that's a sale to be had. That's all. We're just talking. And I think most fans of me understand if you take the emotion out, if you take the oh my God, you want to trade JMO thought out of your head, we can have a realistic talk about the team. Oh, Jim brings it in. Sam Laporta would be traded if the Lions were trading a player. See, Jim, I'm not emotional about it. I don't get emotional about that. I love your comment. Something to discuss. I wouldn't do it. I also feel like Laporta could be used more in this offense. I feel like John Morton has only scratched the surface of this offense. I'm not happy with John Morton. I feel like he's only scratched the potential. He teased it, but also too, guys, we can't say now. We have to give credit to the opposing defenses. They are playing more coverages intended to stop our deep plays. They are playing the lines differently. They are bringing a lot of 8-man fronts, 8-man boxes to try and stop Montgomery. They are adapting to our stuff. They are working to adapt to the Lions. They're not just going to let the Lions run free and be the greatest show on turf. The opposing defenses are trying things. So credit to them. They are playing us differently. Detroit fan, man, it's real simple. Good question. What happened to Wingo? Is he small enough to play defensive end, or is he just stuck in a deep defensive tackle room? Bingo. Roy Lopez stole his job. Bingo bango. Roy Lopez came in and stole his job. He's been a healthy scratch. He also, the injury last year halted his development, and at practice, he hasn't done enough to overtake Lopez. That's what Dan Campbell said. Thank you guys for the 400 people here. About another 10 minutes or so. Get your questions in, super chats in. Ty Summers is your practice squad elevation. And the safety, that means pretty much you're probably going to go with Avonte Maddox to replace Kirby Joseph. I thought Thomas would get in there, but he's not. Ty Summers gets the nod. Man, Vic, you're making me be a bad guy. Resign Pascal? My answer is no. Sorry. I'm mean. I'm the mean general manager. I feel like at this point, I have to grow my confidence if I was a general manager. You've all made me feel like I would suck as a general manager. You all have categorized me as the next Chris Greer of general managers. But I feel like Brad Holmes. I feel like Les Snead. Actually, I'm not going to lie. My brain says I feel like Howie Roseman. Y'all made me feel like Chris Greer. But if you ask me my humble opinion, I want guys that play. I don't want to be mean. But you, Vic, you're a hater. You just want to see me get yelled at. I want players that play. So, sorry. Listen, I do think that everyone knows like it's not personal. Strictly business. If you play, you stay. I didn't create these words. The best ability is availability. But Brad Holmes is throwing it out there like, hey, if you're injured, we target you. I love the theory. Brad Holmes is a dented can guy. Dented can guy. That's disrespectful. You're being disrespectful. Brad Holmes is not a dented can guy. Oh, that's funny. Sorry, I'm just getting the stories up here. Detroit Lions elevate linebacker from practice squad. Oh, you guys are making me laugh. I've had fun. You guys have been a great audience. You guys are, the college audience is a little happier than the weekday audience. Not as much hate. I like it. 400 people in here across 2 platforms. Please just hit the like button. Thank you. Yes, hit that like button for me. We'll continue to grow. I love coming on here and talking to you guys. And hopefully I believe you all have a sense of my dedication to bring you as much information as possible. It's a fun time, man. I really have a privilege. October was a good month in terms of so much news, content, stuff going on. And I feel like Lions on SI is a very trusted source you can go to get Lions information. Fast, fresh, and interesting. Fast, fresh, interesting from the doc. Never boring. That's the one thing is Doc is never boring. I've been gifted the ability to just say things from my brain. But half of you guys are getting mean. You guys are willing to go on YouTube and tell the Lions that I suck? Why? I see it too. You guys remember I got a nephew, and we are not doing this to have those comments read, but he shows them to me, like right in my face. Please, pick on somebody else. We had so much fun yesterday. Watched the World Series. I love that kid. I love my nephews, my nieces, my daughters. But I need them not to be like, Baba, Dad, does J-Mo hate you? Did you piss off Dan Campbell this week? No, honey. I just asked a question. Nobody's pissed off at me. I'm not that important. J-Mo looked like he was mad at you. That's my job. And I hope you guys understand that's my job is to ask the question. And listen, my week, I only summarized it by one thing. I was so proud. I asked J-Mo a question. Dave Burkett, who I respect and I hold at the highest level of esteem, comes in and asks the same question. I'm like, yeah. Listen, I know what to ask. I know the job. I know what to ask. Sometimes it's not nice. Sometimes it doesn't make the players happy. But sorry, I have to ask it. You have to ask it. Oh, Trayvon's in here. My goodness, Trayvon. This is the stuff that shows up on YouTube. This dude is going to get kicked out of Detroit media room sooner rather than later. Trayvon. And actually, I'm really just real fast. I went there and I don't know how this happened. The comment showed up. That's never going to happen. My questions are relevant to stuff that happens on social media, that happens to the players. That's my job. I am empowered to do it. And also, too, whether I'm in the media room or not, as a media member, I've started a podcast company that's been around for 15 years. So that part of it's always going to be there. I'll always have a role in sports. Now, whether I'm not going to get kicked out. I mean, there's a line. I do know the line. But there is a respect level given, and I know that they respect me. I'm not getting kicked out. It just won't happen. So, and I respect you saying that. You believe that. That doesn't work like that. The Lions would then, if they did that, would then activate me to another level, because then I would share that they kicked me out. Then I would go to another level, and then there'd be more of me doing it. So I'm just a necessary evil. It's just you ask the questions, they react to it, you move on. It's a necessary thing. And plus, Trayvon, I don't want you to think I'm narcissistic, but I want you guys listening as the audience to understand it. The questions I ask, by and large, you say are you put the shit that y'all think is cute. The questions I ask selfishly, and I know it works, is shit I want to know personally. So I always hope the players, if they're listening truly, that when I ask Dan Campbell a question or I ask a player a question, it's shit I want to know. And I'm important. I was a fan. I paid money. So it's shit I want to know. And in 8 years, the stuff I want to know translates to what the fans want to know. And that's how I keep the lights on, bro. And if you don't like the question, that means I'm doing my job. That's my job. The job is to uncover things that they don't want to talk about. They have enough PR, bro. They have a PR team. So the question, and it's lucky. I just got lucky to be able to ask these questions. But you're going to hear from me. Sorry, I'm a bulldog, and I'm like Amon-Ra a certain way. I like being there because I was told I couldn't be, and I like to see comments from you. I'm not YouTube lucky, bro. You're totally wrong. I'm not YouTube lucky. I just started YouTube. I'm podcast lucky. I started a podcast company, bro. Podcast before it was popular. And then I said to the media world, I said to the Lions, podcasts are going to be media, peoples. And they're like, no, it's not. And I said, yes, it is. And then I forced my way in proudly. Proudly. And I'm never going to get, some people like yourself will never like it, but I can explain it. It's really just stuff I want to know. Selfishly, narcissistically, it's stuff I want to know. That if, as a fan, as a former paying customer, Dan, you had a great offense last year. Why don't you run it the same? It might be stupid. Oh, well. I got paid to ask it. Hey, a dumb question, a stupid question, still a question. Man, I did get lucky to do this. It is truly lucky. Hey, Trayvon, all these books, I read them, bro. For you to use the word lucky, that's why I am successful. You're so far off that it's actually funny. And that's what some people think. I'm lucky. Who do you guys want to target? But I respect Trayvon for sharing it because people think that, but it really is so far off the truth. I worked hard for the job. I created a podcast network that has didn't fold. Now, this one's too. You need to tell your coworkers to stop asking rhetorical questions. I know some of them aren't the best. What does it mean that listen, they ask what they need to ask. That's their role. That's why my role is different. I'm thankful my role is different. I can't tell anybody what to do. I just do my job. I think that if I told them that, they'd do it more. Yeah, everything could be always better. Everybody could do could be better. But I respect Trayvon for sharing it. Some people actually think I'm lucky. I love for Trayvon to think that. But Trayvon, you just really are revealing you don't know my story, which is crazy because I've shared it literally 10,000 times. Started a podcast. I got crapped on and told I wasn't a media member. And I said, yes, I am. And I said, okay, watch me. I'll become a media member. Simple as that. And now I get to ask questions that piss you off, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy. It is crazy that I do this. No, we respect Trayvon. I respect it. He came in and was somebody that shared his opinion, but I have to defend myself. That's where it comes in, is that you just really are off the path. And a lot of people are off the path. You ask because it's something I want to know. So I hope for those that don't like the questions, I hope you respect it, that you may not like it, but why is he asking it? If you say John's asking JMO questions to get clicks, you're far off the path. I don't need clicks. I don't need any more clicks. I got clicks coming out of my ass, guys. I don't need any more clicks. I don't need any more video views or YouTube subscribers. I don't need any of that. Simply put, and I don't want to keep talking about myself truly today, I ask the questions I ask because I did a podcast about this a year ago. Why do I ask what I ask? Simply put, I ask questions that I want to know. Me. I was a fan. I want to know these things. It's simple as that. And in some way, to some people, it translates. But if you want to kiss the player's ass, go do that. I want to ask questions that I want to ask. That's it. Simple as that. I don't need clicks. I got enough. I've had enough. I'm beyond. Think about it. Ask yourself this. Can someone do clickbait for 8 years? Come on now. So let's break them all down real fast. The last 10 minutes, the trade rumors. They're not really rumors. They're just the same thing you've heard. The Lions are interested in Hendrickson. The Lions are interested in the cornerback, offensive line. The Lions are calling the Bengals. Those are all the things. Have you heard anything else, guys? Those are all the same kind of things. And also, too, you can talk about it. Do you, like I said, it's interesting. Do you like my content? Do you not like it? What can I improve? I remember the rule of thumb is in every hour of broadcasting, I get to talk about myself for 5 minutes, which is what? Let's do the math here. Football content, to give you guys a factual analysis, 5 minutes divided by 60 is I get 0.083% of the show for me. 8%. Don't I deserve that? You guys are like, you talk about yourself too much. I get 5 minutes out of every hour of content. 8%? I don't get 8%? Phil, and I know, it's funny. Love your content. Don't change for the haters. Stay the same. I don't consider Trayvon a hater. He misunderstood. He misunderstands. If you come from the perspective of, look at that asshole, he's a narcissistic troll, then everything I ask sounds like that. Because I can laugh at it because that is truly the furthest thing. I had a media member tell me that. A media member said, "You sound like you have a big ego." And you know what I said? I said, "It sounds like you have a big ego based on the fact that I'm telling you I read 95% of media content and you read 10. And you're telling me I'm not on your list. And I find it offensive that a guy that's been there 8 years putting out daily content you don't follow. I find that offensive. We have a professional disagreement. Who's right? You point your finger at me and that's how this world works. You point your finger at me and tell me I have a big ego. You read 10% of media and ignore and don't follow the guy that covers the team. And then you go on and you report to your fans some things that I know about that you ignore. That just naturally would make me mad. It's not from ego. It's from the fact of professional courtesy and respect. I follow you. I read your on paper article. It's long. It takes forever. Half the time it's wrong, but I read it out of professional courtesy. I just want the same back. So when I ask for it, you tell me I have a big ego. Kick rocks, bro. I told you to your face, you have a big ego. We have a professional disagreement. Who's right? If you put it on paper, I think I'm right. I could have just expressed it in a more nice way. But after 8 freaking years, I don't give a shit anymore. I'm going to say what I want to say when I want to say it. I am a trusted source. And I still read every single article that's put out there by my colleagues. I love them all, truly. It's just that one little nugget of, because I'm a podcaster or because I went to state or because I write rumors or write something, you don't feel the need to follow me. You have your others follow you and tell you what I write. Get the hell out of here, bro. We're grown men. Now, actually, I wish I could share that conversation. I feel, John, you have a big ego. I feel you have a big ego. On paper, who has the big ego? I acknowledge you. You ignore me. And so I said, keep doing it. Keep ignoring me. It's funny. Nicely. I say it here just because that's just from like 5 years of like, bro, how can you ignore me? How can you? I'm here. I'm loud. I'm very loud. So it just stems from, if you want to know, it just stems from somebody wrote something and had a question that I had already answered on my story and a tweet. It's like, if you followed me, you would have had the answer. Yeah. Keep being good at what you do and still being lucky enough to be able to do it. You just try to clear up any misperceptions because I have the lowest ego in that room. That's the funniest part. I have the lowest ego in that room. Exactly. You be you, Doc from Biggins. You're the best because you always keep it real, ask hard questions, and refuse to become complacent with just making the playoffs. Exactly. There's one goal, Super Bowl. And I feel like, I guess to wrap it up for the last 10 minutes, how important is this trade deadline? Could the Lions make a low depth move and still win the Super Bowl? My doubt would raise through the roof. My doubt, like I said, and I could be wrong. The analytical people could be right, and I always could be wrong in everything I say. That's why I open myself up. If a guy truly had a big ego, would he entertain somebody trashing him and airing it? I don't have an ego. I'm willing to hear people say that I'm an idiot. To do this, you have to open yourself up to the idea that I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I am just of the opinion that the Rams did it. The Eagles did it. They did it beforehand by getting Saquon. The Rams got Von Miller and Odell Beckham Jr., F them picks. I like that. I saw it produce results. And I know it's a creature of the moment kind of thing, but why would you not want to at least look at the Rams and the Chiefs and the Eagles? They've won Super Bowls. Draft and develop is very hard to do. I like draft and develop. I like draft, develop, extend, buy at the deadline. Draft, develop, buy at the deadline. Buy at the deadline. Wait, so what is it? Draft, develop, extend, splash. That's the secret, in my opinion. And all the teams won't do it. All the teams in Detroit love draft, develop, some sign, some don't. Draft, develop, sign, splash at the trade deadline. Splash. Biggins, philosophically, to know is to know you know nothing. Socrates. Exactly. I know nothing. I truly don't know anything. I just know to share what I think. And I hope some people relate and understand the nature of what I think and to know the guy. And I think outside of our little professional disagreement, that's the funniest part to me is you know nothing about me truly to say that I have a big ego. And you're a journalist. You don't know anything about me. You don't know what I'm from, and the funny part is we are almost exactly the same. That's the funny part about the whole thing. And all deep down, honestly, I'd buy that guy dinner. That's what would upset you is you know nothing about me. You know your judgment from how I act. It's performative, bro. It's an act. It's a fun. It's that's not if you think this is me, that guy that comes on here screaming his head off, if you think that's how I act when I turn this off, come on. That's the funniest part. You have a big ego. No, you have a big ego. That was my defense. Was you have a big ego. But I have all love for everybody in there. And they know it. I've messaged them all, wished them well when they were sick. I'm a nice guy. But don't come incorrect. What do you think I'm some soft person? I'm a grown man. And the funny part is people are still like, I'm so happy that Dan checked him. He hates him. Dan don't hate me. Nobody hates me. Nobody can hate me. They're like, how can you hate the guy that wrote that Tyleik Williams was balls deep for Halloween? And laughs about it. I cannot. First of all, what did you guys think of this? What did you guys think of balls deep from Tyleik Williams? I don't know. I don't think that Cheetos should be reflected in this nature. And I had to tweet it. I can't. How are you going to be mad and call me an idiot when I laugh at a balls deep costume? I laugh at Cheetos. Oh my goodness. But like I said, we've talked about the trade deadline rumors. We got to share it. I mean, come on. We got to have some unprofessional nature here. Oh, shoot. Yeah. I can't share it now. I got to figure out how to get back in. Because Nolan from the Detroit News had his Twitter hacked, I changed my Twitter password. So on this computer, I have not re-logged in. I have it on my phone. Screw it, I'll just share it. I have not re-logged into Twitter, but I did change my password because I didn't want my stuff stolen. I don't know if someone was attacking the media, but Nolan from the Detroit News had his Twitter hacked. I didn't like that. That's of course I joked about it, but I don't want that happening to me. Because I'll get the kind that was like some of the ones that were really bad that were hacked. You know? Look at this. How are you gonna roll out like that in public? You know, there's guys like me that look at that. It's on my X at Detroit Podcast. Tyleik Williams is balls deep in his costume. It's a publicly hey, he's balls deep for Halloween. What am I supposed to say to that? I mean, there's nothing to say other than my tweet was Tyleik Williams is balls deep for Halloween. And I know you guys are laughing. One, either at me for saying it or because you know it's funny. Others in that room probably wouldn't laugh the way I would. Oh, well. Cheetos. Get your mind out of the gutter, you peoples. Yeah, that's right. That could represent us grown-ass men in the grown-ass man Pro Bowl. Does a grown-ass man laugh at balls deep? Hell yeah, we do. Uh, Xavier, that means a lot, bro. Yeah, rewind it. It's an hour. I'm going to hop out of here. There's 500 people. It's really nice on a college football Saturday. See, Edith, you know what's up. That's funny. If it's funny, I share it. And then to end, that was the thesis of my whole project was if I started a Twitter page, what if I just shared whatever was on my mind? If I started a podcast, what if I just shared everything that happened to me? No barriers, no nothing. If someone says something to you, just share it. If you feel something, just share it. Like I said, I felt something. When I read on another site, someone had a question that I had already answered on my site, I felt disrespected. I took it personally, which I shouldn't have, but that's what it's just a human reaction. I answered the question in my headline, in my story. I took it personally. I got offended. So I tagged the person and said, hey, do your job, follow the doc. And they didn't like it in that manner. Probably not the best manner, but it was a manner. I think you should follow me. That's it. If you don't like doc, you don't like fun. It's that simple. I can explain all my actions. I can reason it. They're not all right. They're not all great. A lot of it is reactionary. I try not to think a lot when I post things. It's been successful. It's not smart, but I have been successful in other areas. So I said, let's just do it. Just say whatever's on your mind. Say it, spray it, say it, spray it, and defend it. So anyways, that's my thoughts on the deadline. I'm a little bit scared it's going to be passive and light. I'm kind of doing the thing where you have that low expectation with the hopes that you're pleasantly surprised. I truly have low expectation, and it's a good thing. But I need the payoff. I need the payoff. I need the Super Bowl to justify Brad saying draft, develop, extend, and no splashes. The problem is these trades are hard. It's not easy to do. I can't just wave. Brad can't wave his finger and get Trey Hendrickson. Most people say if you offer up a couple first rounders, you can get them. I don't know. Trades are hard, but that's your job, Brad, to do the hard thing. That's your job. I feel like, doesn't Trey Hendrickson just feel like a lion by how often we've talked about him? I want the splash. Now, this is just me talking, not the analyst, not the semi-professional writer. I would love a big splash at this deadline. I think this is the year. In my humble opinion, Trey Hendrickson, Riq Woolen, Evan Neal, call it a day. One of each. Doc, to sum it up, defensive line, Trey Hendrickson. Offensive line, Evan Neal. Cornerback, Riq Woolen. Why can't we dream? It's not realistic, but let us dream. A dream, 1,000 dreams. Hendrickson, Riq Woolen, Evan Neal. Make everybody happy. And then just declare, we believe we are a Super Bowl team and this fan base deserves it. Let's go. And plus, this fan base is a poker, push it all in kind of crowd. You have some people that will, play limit and nickel and dime, and they're always going to finish 34th in a poker tournament. Not with Chauncey Billups. I would never play poker with a celebrity. Are you kidding me? I want to play with the drunk fishes after the Red Wings game who dumped their money to me in Omaha. Yes, I play poker. Yes, I'm pretty good at it. Yes, I'm a psychologist. You can't bluff me because I'm holding the nuts. 4 sevens, baby. You could pretty much presume how I play cards. I fold a lot. I build up the perception that I'm very tight and show the nuts every once in a while. And then you can scoop some pots where you have 6-9 or 6-7 suited. Simple game. Beautiful game, though. The game of poker at its finest level, no limit, is a beautiful game. And I'm an all-in kind of guy. Sometimes you get bored and you're like, fuck it. Anyway, F it. $220. Go all in. You got nothing. See if the guys, you put them to the test. So Sometimes there are people that just want to play 1-2 limit and lose their $40 and call it a day. I like no limit a little bit better. That's me. That's how I look at it. So that's how I look at it from the perspective of how this football team is going to handle. I don't know. I'm nervous, like everybody would be. I don't know. What do you guys think? Give me your last comments. What do you guys think is going to happen? What do the Lions do? It's going to be interesting. It's interesting to see. And I'm so happy the stream steadily grew. I didn't lose the audience. That's really cool. All right. I gave an hour and 16 minutes. I think that's good. Again, hopefully you gain a little more understanding. I really do appreciate I want to shout out Trayvon. Thank you. You gave a chance for a little bit more people to understand the real me. I am not YouTube lucky. I am not doing this for clicks. Truly. I mean, half the time I'll say I'm doing it for clicks, but I'm not. I'm not doing it for clicks. I'm doing it in the way that keeps the lights on, the profits strong, the 4 people who trusted me employed, and for my own entertainment. But I understand some of this will come across as narcissistic and ego driven. I'm okay with that. It's funny because it's not real. It's a portrayal of what you see. And you can ask, you can direct message me. If you guys check, just go check the YouTube channel. 98.5% of the comments I answer personally. I am not ego driven. I don't have a big ego, actually. I have a driven mentality for sharing my emotions, sharing my feelings, being wild, and talking about sports. As if I was your brother or nephew or cousin at the bar. Trust in the doc, have some fun. Like I said, fast forward the 5 minutes of your show that I talk about myself and have some fun with it. Now, did any of you catch the Diana Rossini joke? Did you catch the joke or did you truly understand it? If you understand it, you will laugh. Diana Rossini is not my source. Oh, my goodness. Ricky Scoops is my source. Am I Ricky Scoops? I could be. Am I the Ricky Scoops that's online? It's not me. I would never start a Twitter page, share a bunch of great news, get a bunch of followers, and then quit Twitter. That's weird. I am not Ricky Scoops. Am I Diana Rossini's source? Why would I be Diana Rossini's source? If you get it, you don't get it. You get it? Does Diana read the doc and then share it to the public? Does Diana call the doc and share it to the public? I don't know. But if you get it, you get it. If you don't get it, you'll never get it. But I appreciate the 80 minutes you shared, laughing, learning, enjoying, talking some Lions football. Let's see what happens. We'll be here to react to it. I'm hoping it's a splash. I think it's going to be sprinkle. Little something depth related. We shall see. I appreciate all of you. It was a good time. Talk about it. Who should the Lions target? Who should they not target? Should there be some teams they look at? Should they ignore the Dolphins? Should they be active, not active? So much to get into. So hopefully I brought you a little mix of entertainment and knowledge. Like I said, you go by what they say. They're kind of showing respect to the roster. But in the end, summarize it, they're going to make a move. They're going to make one move to add some depth, in my opinion. Thanks, everybody. I'm the Doc, John Macaroon. Have a blessed Saturday. Lots of laughs, lots of fun. Make sure when you go and call out people that you actually know what you're saying. I appreciate all of you, truly. All 600 of you. All balls, no D. Lion King, Kennedith, Xavier, Nate, Lion King. I see all of you. I respect all of you. Jim, Edith, Xavier, Reversion to the Mean, Kenyatta, Biggins, Ken Ross. Like I said, and also too, because I am a nice guy, read like I do. Read everybody. Get a little sprinkle of everybody. Don't just pick and choose based on who you like. Read everybody. They're all worth it. And outside of what I say, which is a lot of nonsense, here's how I show. I subscribe to all these people: The Athletic, The News, The Free Press, MLive. I subscribe to them all out of my pocket. That's the highest respect I can show these people. I read their stuff. I go to their pages. I engage with their stuff. I read it all. That's the true nature of who I am. I pay for it all. I asked them all for a discount, and none of them did. None of them gave me a Christmas present and said, hey, here's a discount for our pages. No, I pay full price for them all. So my apologies humbly if I went on X and tagged you because you chose to ignore me. I am not to be ignored anymore. It just is not going to happen. I'm the Doc, John Macaroon. Have some fun. Let's talk very, very soon. Peace.